there, it's Raina with Lilo Crafts, and I so appreciate you spending time with me today. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. This is my first live recorded video that I've done since before Christmas, and I can't believe that it's almost the new year, right? But what I wanted to do today was come on and show you different ways that you could use your scraps or bash your stash or smash your stash so that you can make beautiful ephemera for journals, beautiful things to start your mini album, or even get a jump on Happy Mail while also helping to clean up your desk and what you've got going on. I'm gonna start by showing you the envelopes up close and describing what I did and what they're made of, and then I'll show you how to make these envelopes. There's two different ways. They do not require measuring or any special tools. So I'll do that at the end, because I know that a lot of you already know how to make an envelope. Okay, so this very first one is a smaller sized one. This is made out of wrapping paper. So out of wrapping paper, and then what I did was I lined it with book page on the inside. What I did was I layered up book page and some cardstock, and then I put a sweet sticker in. I added gold twine. This is made from a book page. I don't know about you guys, but I have zillions of book pages. And I used the lace that I have. I layered up in 3 layers. I used a scrap piece of paper and a scrap little ephemera, and I inked it all up and I glued that on. And if you have tiny little pieces of paper, look, you can make envelopes too. And so this one, I used the nutcrackers. I put some gold threading over here, and then look, I just fussy cut out one of the nutcrackers onto a ticket. I inked it up and I put those 2 tickets into that already. So this is a fully ready piece of ephemera to go. Can be tucked anywhere, could even be glued down as a page tuck. So fun, or even glued in on top of another envelope. This one is made of wrapping paper, and I used a tag. I tied a little bow over here, and I'm using this tag to hold this in place. On the inside, since this wrapping paper was thin, I used a scrap from a quilting magazine, so that is vintage, and so that is ready to go. Then I've got this one. Oh, I am in love with this. So this front is a fabric scrap. Yes, a fabric scrap. And I've got it layered up on book page as a pocket, as you can see here. And then what I did was I had made these tags a couple years ago and I haven't used them all. So what I did was I just took my scallop circle punch and I punched out this snowflake. I cut off the top to make this topper over here. As you can see, I just glued that topper onto the back. And then I took these pieces of paper to make these little banners. So I think that it turned out so cute, and what an awesome way to reuse a tag that I hadn't been using yet. So love, love, love that. Then I had fluffy trim. Yes, I went to a friend's house, and with her grandkids, I made this little project, and it involved this boa. So I had extra left over. So I thought, wouldn't that be so cute on top of an envelope? And so I have glued that on there, and I've got a triple bow made out of a scrap of yarn that I have. And then when you open it up, you can see here's the envelope, and I put these little raised pearls that I had. These are left over from the Dollar Tree, and I think that is so cute. Can't you imagine this even just as a belly band, or even to put something behind it? You could put like, oh, you could put this tag behind it and glue it down just on 3 sides. Oh, so many ways to use these envelopes. I love them. And I made another one. This is a little more simplistic. I had this leftover double plaid bow and a little bit more of that trim, and this time I used green ink around that. Then I have another piece of wrapping paper. And so this is candy cane wrapping paper, and this is a piece of ephemera that I made from a Dollar Tree bag. And so I have some leftover ones, and I backed this on cardstock And again, I used that to hold the flap down. And because it is lightweight, I did back it with book page on the inside. And then I took just a scrap piece of yarn and I tied it over here on the side by going around the back. I think that is so adorable. And then this is using a book page. So I got a crafting book from a thrift store, and so it had this beautiful picture. Aren't these pretty lanterns? And I wanted to be able to utilize that. So I turned this into an envelope, and this I intend to clip in. That's why I inked around the back as well, because I think that is so pretty. And what I did was I just took three of my paper scraps of pink paper, and I took this little spare heart trim. I cut off 2 to make the bow topper, a little scrap piece of lace, and some ribbon up here to make the 3 packages on top of this as the closure. And I got another book page here, and this is just layering up my circle punches. So a red scrap, and again, here's that wrapping paper, and I just made a flag banner, and I had a leftover word joy that I had cut out with die cuts. So I have that one. It's a paper digital that Dale shared with me, and a Christmas tree that I fussy cut out, and then I added a 3-dimensional, just a little piece of bling over here. I added a scrap piece of lace and this number 9 down here to fully dress up this sweet envelope. Then I had some cupcake liners. So Dale and I have been making some cupcake liner trees because we saw Amity Bloom make them, but I had some leftover ones. So this is one cupcake liner that I cut into 3 pieces. I've got my scrap lace over here. I added a button that I tied with some baker's twine and a matching lace over there. This one is a peppermint one, so I thought it would be appropriate to add a red button to this in the same lace. And this time I even added the lace to the bottom. So I thought that was very sweet. And then Dale gave me this piece of ephemera she made by using a Tim Holtz stamp, and she stamped it out, and what I did was I went in with some stickles to really add a little sparkle and shine, and then I tried to pull those same green colors out with the green ink. Okay, so let's go ahead and make one. And so I'm going to use a book page because I still have lots of these book pages left over. And what I want to do is I'm just going to tear off a little bit of this white because I don't need so much white showing. I think it's a little more interesting to have the words showing. And so I'm just going to use my ruler. All you have to do is hold that firm and then just pull. So now we've got our book page right here, and I'm going to take this little bottom part off, which has the number, because we don't need the paper to be that big. I mean, unless you really wanted a much bigger one. So, and when you're folding this, you want to make sure you're folding with the words up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to fold this over, because this is actually going to help strengthen that. So I'm going to fold this little envelope up. I'm going to leave a little bit of space and fold the top. And then I'm going to fold the sides in. So when you do this, it gives it a little gusset, and you can put a little more goodies inside of your envelope this way. So for the bottom here, what we're going to do is we are going to cut straight all the way to here where it folds up, and then we're going to just kind of cut on an angle just like that. And we're going to repeat this on the opposite side. And just know if your cutting is not perfect, it's okay. We can clean it up at the end. My cutting is rarely perfect. Okay, so I've got that cut. Then we're going to go to the other side. This is the top that's going to fold down. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just cut on the fold, and then we're going to cut at an angle. So we're going to, again, cut to the score line and then cut at an angle. Okay, so now we've cut this shape like this, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to fold the sides in, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to put a little bit of glue right here along the top to strengthen that, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put glue right here on the sides. Now I like to put it on the part that I am folding up, and that is because, as you can see, it doesn't always go all the way to the top. And so I want to keep the glue to the paper. So it looks like I've folded this just a hair crooked. So there we go. We can straighten that out. Now next, we're just going to fold this top flap over. And now we're going to do our trimming. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over on the back. And then anything that's sticking out, just like this little piece right here, I'm just gonna cut that right off. And the same on this side. So see what I mean? You can just clean that up and you would never know. Now also on these corners, I'm gonna do just a little snip on the sides. And the reason why I am not doing a curve is I'm terrible at cutting a curve. So if you're better at cutting a curve and you like the curve, please go ahead and do that. Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to ink mine up, and you can ink, you don't have to ink. And I am using Vintage Photo to just go around this one. Okay, so we have this. Now I want to show you how I am storing my scraps. And I have this bag right here that is filled with leftover ephemera that I have. So you can see all different kinds of ephemera that I've got going on in here. And I've got another one with small scraps of paper and one with leftover trims. There's some of the black and white bows, some of that feathers, and then I have another one that has little bits of lace. So I am limiting myself to one bag of each of these things. Now that doesn't mean that's what you have to do, but that's what I am trying to do because I just don't want to go overboard. Okay, so what I've done is got out a few pieces that might work that I want to try out with this. And I also have this piece of burlap that I really love. So let's see here. How do we want to do this? I want to do some kind of gingerbread because I love me some gingerbread. And if I wanted to put this behind, I wonder if I could put this up here and then have this come like that. Okay, I like that. I'm going to use those 3 pieces and we'll save these for another time. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is back this on something that's a little bit more firm because it's very flimsy. It's a paper bag. So I've got this piece of cardstock. So that looks good. Is I'm going to cut out my little gingerbread piece here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my glue stick. I'm going to go ahead and use this. And the reason why I'm using a glue stick instead of wet glue is because this is so thin. This paper is so super thin. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in here and trim it. Okay. All right, so we've got that. So I did some stenciling. Dale was teaching me how, and so I love that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just apply some hot glue to the top, and I'm only going to stick that onto the flap, okay, of that. Then I've got this burlap trim that I think is gonna be so cute over here. Okay, so I want that to kind of touch, and I want this to be able to go behind it. because that's going to be how I fasten it. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue and just put a bead down here and push down. Okay, now I'm just going to take this end and I'm going to trim that. And what I'm going to do is run the hot glue all along the edge right here so it won't fray. So I've got that down, and then the last thing I need to do is to put this little gingerbread sign on. And I do want to go around this with also some ink with some vintage photo. So I'm going to ink this. Hey, how cute is that? Oh my gosh, adorable. So I'm just gonna put some hot glue right in the middle, and I'm just going to attach that right onto the burlap. Oh my gosh, I love that. How adorable. Okay, so we've got that one, and then I wanted to show you another way to do an envelope. So let's say you have a really small scrap. This scrap happens to measure 2 inches by 4 inches. So a pretty small piece of paper. So what you're gonna do is just go ahead and fold like that. Now all you need to do to seal this is the most simplistic way, is to just add some glue right to the sides. Okay, so just add some glue right to the sides. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to ink around this. I'm gonna snip these corners. Now, if you want to make it like a more pointy envelope, all you have to do is just cut on an angle like that. And then you've got your pointy envelope. Okay, so it's not difficult at all. And then to go ahead and fill this, you can stick one of your little men, your little nutcracker, little drummer boy men in here, and you've got another ticket right like that, and you are set to go. You can wrap some string around it, or you don't have to at all. So those are the 2 ways to make envelopes, and so many different ideas for what you can do. I hope that you got a little bit of inspiration on how to use your scraps today. I so appreciate you spending time with me, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.